After repairing the alien princess's radio, she locked the room and said, "Come closer." Elias had learned long ago that space stations never truly slept. Even during the artificial night cycle, the corridors hummed softly with power, air systems, and distant engines. Lights dimmed, footsteps became rare, but the station itself was always awake. Elias liked this time best. Fewer people meant fewer questions, fewer interruptions, and more time to work. He was a human technician, officially classified as general maintenance, which meant he fixed anything others did not want to deal with. Doors that opened too slowly, lights that flickered, old systems that newer species considered useless. Elias did not mind. Humans had a long history of fixing things that were old, broken, or forgotten. That was why the message surprised him. Technician Elias, report to Diplomatic Wing 7, private assignment. Elias took a slow breath, wiped grease from his hands, and grabbed his tool bag. Whatever this was, it was not going to be simple. The walk to Diplomatic Wing 7 took longer than usual. Security doors scanned him multiple times. Silent alien guards watched his every move. No one spoke. The air felt heavier here, as if even sound was being careful. Finally, he reached a tall, curved door made of a pale metal that reflected light like water. A symbol glowed faintly on its surface, shifting shapes in a way that hurt his eyes if he stared too long. The door slid open without a sound. Inside, the room was quiet and wide, filled with soft blue light. Strange furniture floated slightly above the floor, shaped for bodies that were not human. At the far end stood an alien figure. She was tall and slender, her skin smooth and faintly glowing like moonlight through ice. Her eyes were large and dark, reflecting everything. Thin lines of silver ran across her temples and down her neck, not decorations, Elias realized, but part of her biology. She wore a long, flowing garment that shimmered with shifting colors. This was the alien princess. Elias swallowed. He had seen images of her species in training files. They were known across the galaxy for their advanced technology and emotional restraint. Royals from her world were rarely seen outside their home system. "You are the human technician," she said. Her voice was calm, musical, and perfectly translated by the station's systems. "Yes," Elias replied, keeping his tone respectful. "Elias, I was told there's a repair request." Its metal surface was worn, scratched, and clearly old. Very old. Elias felt something spark inside him. Curiosity, familiarity, maybe even comfort. "This device no longer functions," the princess said. "My people have attempted to restore it. We have failed." As soon as his fingers brushed the casing, Elias understood the problem. The radio was not dead. It was misunderstood. Its design followed simple logic paths, not adaptive algorithms. Modern alien tools were too complex, too aggressive in their attempts to fix it. "They're trying too hard," Elias said before he could stop himself. The princess tilted her head. "Explain." Inside, the components were a mix of alien craftsmanship and something simpler. Wires were arranged by function, not efficiency. Parts showed signs of repair, maybe done many times over many years. "Who made this?" Elias asked softly. "My ancestors," the princess replied, "before our ascension era." He adjusted a loose connection, cleaned a contact with a cloth, and gently realigned a damaged coil. He moved slowly, almost respectfully, as if the device were alive. Time passed unnoticed. The station's hum faded into the background. There was only Elias, the radio, and the princess's quiet presence. "You are not using automated assistance," she observed. "Don't need it," Elias said. "Sometimes hands work better." The princess stepped forward without realizing it. Her breath caught just slightly. "It lives," she whispered. Elias smiled. "It was never dead." Something like longing crossed her face. "This signal has not been heard in over 1,000 cycles," she said. "It is a voice from before we became what we are." There was a soft sound. The door locked. Elias froze. His heart beat faster, but he did not panic, not yet. The princess turned to face him. "Do not be afraid," she said gently. You are not in danger, because this moment is not meant to be interrupted. Chosen. When you grow up without unlimited resources, you learn to make things last. When you are near, it stabilizes. And it had chosen to speak when a human listened. The radio continued to speak in soft, steady tones, filling the quiet room with a sound that felt older than the station itself. Elias stood beside the alien princess, aware of her presence in a way he could not explain. It was not fear. It was not attraction either. It was something deeper, like standing near history while it slowly breathed. The princess did not move away. Instead, she folded her hands calmly in front of her and listened as if every sound mattered. "This signal," she said after a long pause, "was created before my people learned to hide their thoughts. It was guidance. Some old human machines work the same way. They adjust based on feedback, not commands." "You speak without fear," she observed. "I speak honestly," Elias replied. "Those aren't the same thing, but they work together. But only to grant us time. I share it because you restored a voice we had abandoned." Elias felt it in his chest like a memory that was not his own. Sarilith inhaled sharply. "This is a call," she said, "not to a place but to a state of being. Of people passing down stories, even when everything else was lost. Humans do that," he said quietly. "We forget things too, but we leave ourselves ways back. When my people ascended," she continued, "we removed uncertainty. We removed emotional influence. Decisions became clean, perfect, and empty. You see humanity as unfinished," she said, "primitive, chaotic." A new layer emerged, clearer than before. Elias felt a pressure behind his eyes like standing at the edge of a deep ocean. Sarilith's breath caught. "It is unlocking," she said. "Not data, memory." "You place yourself beside me," she said, "not beneath." Beings gathered together, touching hands, sharing thought and emotion freely. Sarilith lowered herself to one knee without realizing it. "We were beautiful," she whispered. Elias felt a lump in his throat. "You still are." Sarilith stood slowly. "This device was hidden because it challenged our doctrine," she said. "It reminded us that progress without feeling is incomplete. Every action I take sets direction. From this moment," she said, "humanity will no longer be studied from a distance. You will be observed as equals. The signal will spread." As he stepped out, he realized it was not the station that had changed. It was him. Sarilith walked beside him in silence. Two attendants appeared from a side passage, their posture formal, their eyes curious. They glanced at Elias, then at the radio case Sarilith carried herself instead of assigning it to others. That alone was unusual. They reached a private chamber overlooking the stars. The wide window showed endless darkness, broken by distant light. Sarilith gestured for Elias to sit. She remained standing for a moment as if listening to something no one else could hear. "The signal is still active," she said quietly. "It has not weakened. You speak as if intention exists within metal. Already, inquiries are being sent. They detected changes in the signal spectrum." "Tell me something," Sarilith said. "When you repair a human machine, do you consider how it feels?" "The radio responded most strongly when you were present," she said. "Our instruments confirm it. There is a variable we cannot isolate." "I allowed failure. My council predicts unrest if this signal spreads unchecked," she said. "They fear regression." "I'm not a diplomat." "This frequency can reach other dormant devices," Sarilith said. "Relics we buried. That's how we stay human." "That's the key part. Another device has activated. Humans will be asked to guide without ruling." "To the council," he said, "they might not like me." The council chamber was vast, filled with floating platforms and shifting light. Alien figures appeared as projections, their forms elegant and distant. "State your report," a voice echoed. Sarilith stepped forward. "An ancient device has been restored. By listening, not forcing. and you would trust a human to guide this understanding. That is all I ask. And for the first time they were being heard. The station entered a new cycle, but it did not feel like an ordinary one. The air was the same, the lights followed their pattern, and ships continued to arrive and depart, yet a quiet awareness spread through every level. Something old had been stirred, and many felt it even if they could not name it. Elias stood near a wide observation window, his tool bag resting at his feet. He had not been reassigned. He had not been promoted. Officially, he was still a general maintenance technician. Unofficially, his presence was now requested in places where humans were rarely invited. Sarilith joined him after the council session, her steps calm but thoughtful. "The council has issued a temporary declaration," she said. "The signal will not be suppressed. Even those who claim to be beyond fear. We're used to that." Carefully. "The council has approved a cultural exchange initiative," she said. "Small, controlled." They began walking through the station together. Officials stepped aside without comment, not out of command but acknowledgement. "You realize," Elias said carefully, "some humans won't trust this." The door was open now. Inside, the device rested on a stable platform surrounded by gentle light. It no longer looked broken. It looked complete. Sarilith approached it and placed her hand near the casing, not touching. "My people once believed perfection was the end goal," she said. "You showed us that continuation matters more. Perfection doesn't leave room to breathe." "Doing what?" "We're messy. Several species have detected the signal. We cannot control this awakening," a council member said, "but we can guide our response." Humanity was not being elevated as conquerors or saviors. They were being invited as companions. After the session, Elias returned to his quarters. They were small, unchanged. He liked that. He sat on his bed and removed a small item from his pocket, a simple human radio component he had carried for years. Old, useless by modern standards. He turned it over in his hand, smiling. Later, Sarilith visited once more. "The first human delegation will arrive soon," she said. Elias stood. "I'll meet them." "The galaxy is changing," Sarilith said. "It always was," Elias replied. "We just stopped pretending otherwise." And somewhere among the stars, humanity found its place. Not as rulers, not as weapons, but as listeners who knew how to fix what others had forgotten.